All right, sixth grade, we are going to finish out this book. So let's begin where we left off. It's been a little bit, so let's recap. Remember, Ravana was pretty upset about someone trying to rescue Sita. And he put up a good fight, right? The monkeys, Hanuman and Rama and Jambavya, and everyone all the armies were fighting against each other. Monkeys were fighting against each other. Ravana was fighting against each other. And they were just really, really getting into it. So now we have the chapter. I'm going to reread Ravana's rampage. All right. So let's start here. And we're really going to think about the shadow character, Ravana. How is he described? What words? How does the author describe and create and develop this character? Because you're going to have to create and develop your own shadow character for your own monomyth. How are you going to describe and develop your character? What words are you going to use? What actions are you going to have him do? So let's read today. All right, here we go. Ravana's rampage. After witnessing the destruction of his entire family, Ravana declared that he would enter the battle himself. The mighty 10-headed king could see and kill in every direction. Making his way through the battle, he felled thousands of monkeys and bears, sending a wave of fear through the jungle army. I'm going to underline those words because those are very good descriptions of Ravana and how the author is describing him. The mighty 10-headed king, right? We know, we can see that. Could see and kill in every direction. Making his way through the battle, he felled thousands of monkeys and bears, sending a wave of fear through the jungle army. That's a good metaphor, a wave of fear. Is there really a wave? No, but it feels just like everybody is scared. All right. Sugriva and the other generals tried to counterattack, but the cruel demon continued on. There's another one, cruel demon. Not just demon, but cruel demon. Continued on, striking down everything in his path. Even mighty Hanuman flew toward the demon king, but was sent crashing down by a blazing volley of fiery arrows. Ravana spotted Lakshman on the other side of the battlefield and charged straight towards him. He knew Lakshman's death would cause Rama great pain. Fast as lightning, the demon struck Lakshman with a single mighty blow. So right there, fast as lightning, the demon struck Lakshman with a single mighty blow. It's telling us how fast he is, and comparing him to lightning, and telling us what he did. He struck Lakshman down with one blow, one hit, and it was a mighty blow. Rama watched as his brother fell. He immediately ordered his army to retreat as he whisked Lakshman off the battlefield. All of Ravana's heads smiled as he declared a quick victory. Rama's generals rushed towards their fallen leader and began to cry and moan, for there was nothing the animals could do for the brave prince as he lay mortally wounded. Leaf of life. Rama laid his hand on Lakshman's face. He could feel his brother's life force leaving him. He despaired that the war was lost. Jambavan, ever wise, offered one solution that might save him in time. Once again, he turned to Hanuman, son of the wind god, and called his powers of speedy flight. With no time to lose, Hanuman was dispatched. Swiftly, the monkey jumped across the ocean and the entire length of India, all the way to the Himalayas, where natural medicine grew. But upon reaching the mountains, Hanuman was confronted with a big surprise. There were plants everywhere. In fact, the whole mountain was covered with them. Hanuman was confused and didn't know which plant to pick. The sun was setting fast, and Lakshman's time was running out. Hanuman began to shake and panic. Oh no, he could not decide which plant to take. He didn't know which one was the right plant. Mountain of medicine. Hanuman prayed once more by repeating the mantra of Rama's name. As he did, his body began to expand till once again he was big as a giant. Ultimately, Hanuman did the only thing he could think of. In a cloud of snow and dirt, the massive Vanara uprooted the entire mountain and balanced it in the palm of his hand. He shot across the sky, racing against this time to return to Lakshman. The jungle army cheered as they saw clever Hanuman bringing back an entire mountain of medicine. Before the Vanara could even land, a strong onshore wind blew toward Lanka and across the hillside of medicine, carrying the smell of the life-restoring herbs straight to Lakshman's nose. He revived, and when Hanuman landed, they wasted no time in gathering the herbs to restore him back to perfect health. Rama thanked the shrewd Vanara and instructed him to harvest plenty of the medicine before returning the mountain to its home. Quick thinking Hanuman. And there he goes, bringing it all the way to save the prince. Ravana was astonished to see Rama and Lakshman return to the battlefield. The demon king was frustrated and annoyed that the war had not yet ended. He challenged Rama to a duel once the sun had risen. At first light, the demon king of Lanka emerged proudly on the battlefield upon a mighty war chariot. Ravana shone as brightly as the sun itself, a truly magnificent warrior. And Rama realized that if the demon had not been his enemy, he would have been worthy of worship. But Rama knew that as magnificent as Ravana appeared, his crimes could not go unpunished. With great respect, Rama joined his palms and saluted the demon king with a fiery gaze. A hush fell upon the jungle army as Rama strode past the protection of his generals. Hanuman quickly intercepted him and insisted that Rama sit upon his furry shoulders so that he could act as a chariot to ensure that the kings could have a fair duel. And there goes Rama sitting on top of Hanuman's mighty shoulders. And there is dangerous Ravana on his chariot. Rama and Ravana saluted each other and faced off once more, and soon their weapons of war lit up the entire sky. The blue warrior struck down each weapon that Ravana fired until the demon was left with only one weapon in his 20 hands. Shiva's Trishul, a three-pronged trident with which Ravana could summon up the destructive flame of Shiva's third eye, a fire that could burn up the universe. Using all his strength, the demon sent the Trishula's flame leaping toward the warrior. Rama knew he would be incinerated by Shiva's fire, so he turned to the magic arrow that served him so well in the past. He called upon the arrow to become endowed with the Brahmastra, a divine power with the ability to end all of creation, as it was wrought by the creator god Brahma himself. Rama fired the arrow a moment before the dark flames engulfed him. The earth shook as the two weapons collided. Equally powerful, the mighty weapons canceled each other out, leaving the universe shaken but still in existence. As the dusk settled, As the dust settled, Rama saw that Ravana was drained of energy and unable to move. Seizing the opportunity, Rama quickly fired 10 arrows, slicing off each of Ravana's heads. Dun dun. Ooh, what is Ravana gonna do? Yeah, there go his heads. Oh my goodness. 108. The Undying Demon. But instead of dying, the demon simply grew more heads. Rama began to panic, shooting off several more heads, but they all quickly grew back. Hanuman did his best to dodge Ravana's attacks, while the blue prince gathered himself. Over the demon's fiendish laughter, Rama heard the voice of Agastya, the sage he had encountered in the forest. The sage spoke in the prince's mind and reminded Rama that Ravana's heads could never be defeated, for they were an extension of his ego, which had no limits. Ravana had but one weakness, his belly button, which held the nectar of his power. Agastya suggested the prince quickly take aim at this vulnerable spot, for the demon grew stronger as each new head regenerated. Oh, there goes Rama taking aim at Ravana. He's going to win. He will not be defeated. Rama summoned up the Brahmastra once again and charged the arrow with its power. The prince took careful aim and waited for the moment the demon was aligned with the sun before releasing the blazing missile. The arrow of light burned through the sky until it found its mark, striking Ravana directly in the belly button. In a blinding flash, the arrow struck its target. The demon saw the blue warrior's true identity as the avatar of Vishnu. Ravana realized that he had no protection from a god reborn as a man. This cosmic loophole brought swift justice. The golden arrow had flown with such force that it pushed Ravana's body from the earth, high up through all the levels of heaven and back down through the lowest level of hell. The mystical arrow shined with such radiance that it extinguished the shadow of evil from every corner of the three worlds. The universe was silenced as evil was brought to an end for an age. Rama won. He defeated evil. There he goes, aiming, taking aim, shooting right through Ravana. And that, excuse me, next, Sita's honor. After the war was won, Sita was set free and restored with clean clothes and jewelry befitting her beauty. She was brought before her prince upon a royal palanquin. The entire jungle army stood breathless as the princess emerged and was escorted toward Rama. Sita presented Rama with a victory garland, but instead of hugs and kisses, Rama stared coldly at her and spoke with chilling words. The blue prince rejected Sita for having spent so many nights in another man's home. The princess felt so disgraced and heartbroken that she asked Lakshman to build her a cremation fire. Sita then spoke so everyone could hear her. She declared that if she were innocent, she would be unharmed by the flames. Otherwise, she would gladly let herself perish before anyone who questioned her honor. Sita bravely walked into the fire and stood in its center. No, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think she's going to burn? Do you think she's going to survive the fire? We are going to have to find out next time.